Welcome back to another Linux Audio Soliloquy video. In this video I would like to have a look with you at my favorite plugins and the ones I miss most on Linux. Because as some of you know, I was like 25 years making music on macOS, and yeah, I really in the end I almost drowned in the plugins. So when I came to Linux first, it was really like a fast for me. I had to adapt to the situation, but nowadays the situation has improved so much that I actually already have quite a few plugins that I really love. And to be honest, most of the ones that I miss are optional at this point in time, because I can actually do everything that I want to do. But still, so because I don't have so much time and I actually would love to show you all these synthesizers in detail, but I can't, I prepared a little session for you. In this session, I selected some of my most beloved instrument plugins on Linux, and I will first show you all these sounds that they produce. Like, I just used presets for this demonstration. I first will show you the naked sounds, no effects, and then I also will show you what I did with it, and like step by step, synthesizer by synthesizer, we go and build this little session that I prepared for today. And after that, I will also show you some of the instrument plugins that I still actually would love to see coming to Linux. Okay, so let's dive into the desktop. So what you heard in the intro was Flechtwerk. Flechtwerk reminds me a lot of the times when I was working with my own Eurorack system. I had to sell all of this, but this really reminds me, especially from the sound, not so much from the workflow, of course, because you're not patching anything in the end. But yeah, listen to it. This is what Flechtwerk sounds. Again, this is naked, no effects applied. And with Flechtwerk, you know, you have some randomized stuff that I have now for timbre and for harmonics. I enabled something, but here you have like tons of controls to really mangle the sound. In this example, I use a very simple sound for this. Then next, I would say let's activate TAL-Pha. I'm not sure if it's actually called like that, but this is yeah, the synthesizer. I love TAL plugins in general, so that's what this one sounds. As you can see, beautiful UIs, and it's really inspiring to dive into sound design, which I did not do here. It's just a preset, right? But okay, so this is TAL-Pha. Then another TAL synthesizer, TAL J-8. Also gorgeous, and the sound is like this. So far so simple. The next one is Zebra. It's actually amazing. I used Zebra throughout the years and I loved it, especially for pads and atmospheric sounds. And this one is actually Zebra free. It's a beta version that dropped just a couple of days ago, completely overhauled, really interesting. I did not have time to dive into it all too deep, but this is what I made with it for this track. And before we go to JC3 here, I would like to show you the bass line. I will show you at the end of this track why I spared JC3 for the end. Okay, bass line, something amazing. A new vendor on Linux, Plogue, and this is PortaFM. They gave me the 2 licenses because I made an interview with them to have a look at the synthesizers, and I absolutely came to love them. I had not a lot of knowledge about chip sounds, if you want to call it like that, but now I actually I am addicted to the bass sounds especially, and lead sounds. But for this track I used a bass sound, and it sounds like this. By the way, if you wonder why everything is clipping like crazy, it's because I have K-Clip by Casrock, which is absolutely amazing. Here on the mix group, right? Okay, so that was the bass, that was Plogue's PortaFM. And now I would say, before we go into the JC303, which has actually all the effects still on, I would like to construct this for you so that you get an idea what this actually sounds together. Okay, so we have the bass and the TAL J-8 together. Then we add the J-8. Flechtwerk. And I think at this point it makes sense that we go into the effects that I put on these sounds and then actually listen to everything together. Okay, so this is for the PortaFM synth. I added an Eternal by Cinevibes. Cinevibes absolutely amazing. We will get into this in another video, but it sounds like this. Other than this, there's like a standard Bitwig EQ, something that I use all the time, basically on most of the channels, just to cut a little bit of the bass sound, the basic sound, because sometimes it's not only the low frequency, sometimes it's something else. Here I accentuate also a little bit around 2 kilohertz. So that's what this processing on the PortaFM sounds, and then the processing on the TAL J-8 sounds like this. Nothing too fancy, but actually I love Sinus KO, one of my favorite distortion plugins, but again, we get into this in another video. Then on the J-8, I think it's the same stuff. I also have a KO there and an EQ, so nothing special, so listen to that. Okay, simple. And then on the Zebra, I think I have a synth warmer by Kazrock, which is amazing. It's also an absolutely amazing saturation plugin. And then the other Desert Cities ultra amazing delay effect, and with that it sounds like this. All right, and before we activate the synths, the last favorite synth plugin for today is JC303. And the reason for that is because first, I am a total acid addict. I love the TB303 sound. Like when I first heard this, I think it changed my life forever. And when I switched to Linux, I lost all my 303 emulations, like the D16 emulation or the what is the name? Sometimes I have this, sometimes I completely lose all my memory. It's very interesting. It's a Swedish company. Unbelievable, cannot remember. Anyways, I lost all my 303 emulations, and then I learned that there's actually an open source 303 and JC303, right? It didn't look like this in the beginning, and the reason for this is because I was so excited that I decided to make a new design for it and contribute to this project. And actually now I am in close contact with the developer, and he is working on more stuff like a step sequencer, and I already made the design for this, so it's actually going to be even more amazing in the future, but it's already very good, and it sounds like this. Again, this is without any effect. And here, let me see what I put on this. True Iron by Kazrock. Absolutely amazing. I love it. An EQ and a little bit of compression. The EQ and the compression are Bitwig standard devices. So let's listen to this. And now it's time, I think, to enable the synth effects and listen to everything together. Okay, everything together sounds like this. fun little jam. So I thought this is maybe a good way to present to you how I use these instruments on Linux and why I actually like them. Maybe you like the song and you can understand. Maybe it was not exactly your taste, but maybe you can still appreciate the possibilities that these synths offer. Definitely check them out. And with that said, I would like to jump into the browser and show you some of the stuff that I am still missing on Linux. Okay, let's check this out. Okay. So a very simple thing by Beef Street is actually Dagger. You would not believe it. It looks so simple, and is actually also, the concept is very simple. But I use this thing on macOS all the time because I don't know, whatever I did with it, it just worked. It's so easily to modify. It always sounds good. So yeah, Beep Street, if you're listening, please make Linux builds. It would be amazing. Then something that I never really liked, actually, Contact. I always found it kind of, I don't know, complicated and unpleasant to use. But I had so much nice libraries inside of Contact, the sample engine by Native Instruments, that I have to admit sometimes I miss it. You know, there are so many interesting vendors, like for instance Spitfire, that make tons of interesting libraries for Contact. Like for instance, lots of percussive stuff that I used. Really, really cool. I miss it, yeah. Even though I have to admit there is stuff by, like for instance, I think it's called Liberwave by Rhapsody, and there are other good samplers that are available for Linux and that also have interesting libraries, but I think nothing can compete with Contact. So if Native Instruments ever decides to make Linux versions, I will at least be happy to have Contact again. That would be cool. Okay, Contact is one. Then Atoms by Baby Audio is also something that I just think it was super fun to use and produced really surprising results. And I'm not aware of anything that is similar to this that would exist on Linux. So this is something I miss. Then there's a ton of stuff like GeForce software. Like for instance, I don't really need it because the emulations by TAL and UHI are actually already enough for me. I am happy with that. But again, I mean, they make great stuff and with a lot of attention to detail, great user experience. So, and they actually said to me that they would consider to come to Linux, but I'm not sure. They don't feel the urge yet, but I think they will come one day soon. Same goes for Softtube. Softtube, I think, is an amazing vendor in general, but I doubt that they will come to Linux anytime soon. If they come, it would be cool. They have, like, at least for instruments, great emulations, again, beautiful UIs, well programmed, really cool stuff. Then one of my favorite missed vendors on Linux in general is Sugarbytes. I love to use Factory, and I also love to use their drum computer. You know, you could think it's not really that amazing, but I think they have great ideas, beautiful designs, and just in general, cool stuff. And of course, I would also not be unhappy if Arturia would come over, even though I have to admit I never really used their stuff so much. But it's like, I think, especially if you're a beginner and you buy their suite, I'm not sure what it's called, the V collection, yes, then you have a great set of tools to start with. Like, so yeah, I think it would be great if they would come. I think they never answered to my requests, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to be unfair to them, but I think they never replied. So I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, that's basically it. You saw now my favorite instrument plugins and the ones I miss most. As you could see, it's not that dramatic, the situation anymore. I don't use any emulated Windows plugins on my system, so I really have only native Linux plugins. And I would say I'm already in a warm house. It's already really amazing. So I can already do all the things I need to do, with some minor exceptions, right? But so, okay, these were the instruments. And I will do again a poll on Mastodon to ask you guys what category you want to see next. And with that said, thank you very much for watching and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.